1340 KVGC on the phone. Our friend Douglas Viviani from Everything Old is New Again every Saturday night, 6 o'clock here on KVGC. Well, did you have a good Father's Day, my friend?
Thank you very much. I did. Had a nice Father's Day sitting by the barbecue, watching someone else do that for once, and watching sports. I watched the U.S. Open, noticing the changing of the guard. You've got new television coverage for the U.S. Open for golf. Got new type of golf course, the links there with less screens, and Jordan Spieth, the 21-year-old, wins it for the second in a row, and no Tiger Woods, no Mickelson. So it was interesting to see the changing of the guard. I don't know how was your Father's Day? Anything interesting?
Mine was not quite as relaxing as yours. It started on Friday and continued through Sunday with me doing a lot of the barbecuing and work Saturday. But it was enjoyable. I like to do that, so it was fine. It was fine.
Well, I'll tell you, there's nothing better than barbecue ribs, a couple of beers, and falling asleep to golf on TV.
If you've ever played golf with me, you'd fall asleep too out on the course. So.
Well, that's sort of what Everything Old is doing. Again, it does. You know, each week we pick a topic of pop culture and we examine its beginnings, how it's developed through the years, and we use audio clips to jog the memories and try to explain why we're still enjoying that today. So we look at golf in this example, and we're saying, where's Tiger Woods and where's even Jack Nicholson and Arnold Palmer and all that, and we take a look and see how the sport has developed. I think it's a perfect topic for Everything Old is New Again down the line, I think.
Sure. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, then what we do is just take a look at maybe some golf movies. I don't know. Are you a fan of any of them? There's not too many of them. What comes to mind?
You know, I was thinking, of course, Caddyshack, if you want to call that a golf movie.
Yes, that's the best of all time, I think.
Tin Cup, that's another good one.
Yeah.
Legend of Bagger Vance.
Yeah.
Also a good one. Of course, there's probably more out there that I'm
it's a few. The Greatest Game Ever Played with Shia LaBeouf, and they talk about the U.S. Open there, and I think basically it was from 1913, a true story of Francis Ouimet, who was the first amateur to win the U.S. Open. So that's kind of fun. Do you play golf at all? I know there's a couple nice local courses there, the Castle Oaks, or what's the other one? La Contentina? How do you
La Contenta?
Yeah.
La Contenta or Mace Meadows, which is just up the road.
Okay.
I would say our home course would be, if you were to bring your clubs when you visit, we'd go out to Castle Oaks. We would play Castle Oaks down in Ione. And that would be the course we would play. Well, some people have accused me of playing golf before. I don't know. I'm not the world's greatest. I enjoy the game. But you know what I found out, Doug, and maybe you the same. I was somewhat apprehensive to start playing the game, and I don't play I play in tournaments and I play with friends let's put it this way. My clubs have dust and cobwebs on them, okay? So I just bring them out. But, I was afraid because I thought, well, everybody, will be Tiger Woods, and I will just be this guy out there, flailing around.
Right.
But then when you get out there and you start playing, that's not the case. That's not the case.
Exactly. I think it's an achievement if you're honest on the golf course more than good. I think that's more of a different side of it than anything else. Because I tell you, I started out as a kid. We were lucky. We lived close to a golf course. We'd ride our bicycles and take our clubs to the course and hit away. And have a lot of fun, and I got to be pretty good. So in high school, I was on the team, so I was pretty good at the time. The problem is, after high school, I sort of gave it up on a regular basis, and my game's gone downhill from there. So at this point, and I'm with you. It's there's a lot to do, and it's hard to just get out there and spend 4 or 5 hours to every week, let's say, to play golf. But it's definitely a game that I think is great for a family, just like our show, where you can share it together, where, mom and dad and the kids, no matter what age, can go out there and hack away and watch. There's the development of the game of your kids, let's say, and teach them, and it goes across generations. I think that's such a great way to spend a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. So it's fun to see that part of it, and that's what we try to do with the show. Is we have a little fun arguing in quotes back and forth about maybe in this case who was the best golfer, and just ever see this one, and or on the golf course ourselves trying to experience some fun and see why we've been out there. What's the fun of playing golf? And I think fun, some of it is just the community, and that's what great radio is about, which I think you do in the morning there every morning, is bring some people in from the community, bring some topics together that people are interested just to share and have some fun together.
Now I have to admit, we were celebrating Father's Day both Saturday and Sunday. So we had the radio on, but I didn't get to hear all of the show on Saturday. Did you crown an all-time winner of TV theme songs?
We did, for the drama. We crowned for the theme song for the drama was Hawaii Five-0.
Ah!
Yes.
I never even thought of Hawaii Five-0.
And we were clever this time. We did 6 shows of theme songs, and this particular way that we did it, we didn't really even mention Hawaii Five-0 until the last 3 minutes of the 6th show. So we were hoping that people had that in the back of their mind. You and I spoke about it a couple of times in the morning. We did mention it, but not on the show. So we were trying to kind of a little tricky there, and that was it. It was a great run. We have new topics coming up though this week. We have something a little different. We are interviewing authors Joan Kramer and David Healy, who wrote a book called In the Company of Legends. And these two, and we don't usually interview people that often, but when it fits and suits the topic of the day, it's just so much fun. You may have seen them in the past, some documentaries. One on Jimmy Stewart that Johnny Carson walks through and narrates.
Yes.
And that was their baby, and they did a ton of these. They did one with Katharine Hepburn, Lauren Bacall. They've been experienced and talked with Frank Sinatra, James Stewart, as I just mentioned, even Ronald Reagan. They were in the White House when Reagan was in the White House, and they were granted 20 minutes to talk about, with Ronald Reagan, to talk about Jimmy Stewart. They have some tremendous experience. If anybody's familiar with any of those people, those are legends in the business. And there are some great behind-the-scenes stories that they share with us that I don't think you've really ever heard before. So it's really a lot of fun to speak to them. The hour just flew by. We do our clips as always and had a little fun with that. But for the most part, we just shared some terrific experiences with them, and it's sort of like we were a fly on the wall when they were being interviewed or interviewing Ronald Reagan or Johnny Carson, the different things that Johnny Carson did. He had a certain reputation for not being so nice off the screen, off the air. But with them, there's some examples of what he did that just will blow you away. Some interesting topic for us at Everything Old is New Again.
If you had the chance to sit down with one of those on the list, who would you choose and why?
I would really. I think Johnny Carson is so interesting. His name keeps coming up on our show here and there. We interviewed Jay Johnson from Soap, if you recall that show, way back when. He was a ventriloquist, and he had been on Johnny Carson's couch, so to speak, and quite a few others that just come along and talk about him as in glowing terms. But then there are these books that are out that tell a different story, and so I think it's an interesting dichotomy. We all have, good and bad sides to us, and it's just interesting to see the perspective of people and what he was like and what he did to develop a show. And of course, he's a host of a show, not necessarily a radio show, but a successful show. And so I would have some I guess, professional questions of him as well. How about you?
Well, how would you like it if everywhere you went, you were in a fishbowl after a while it would begin to wear on you. So I can see, I saw a really good documentary on Johnny Carson it was a few months back, and you can just see it was on Channel 6 actually, which is PBS here in our area out of Sacramento. But it kind of showed the progression of his personality through the radio show, through the TV show, his friendship with Ed McMahon and the drinking, and then they had a good friendship at first, and then towards the end they weren't that friendly.
Right.
And then it just him becoming almost an introvert and not trusting anybody, but it was because of everybody wanting a piece of you. And after a while, after so many years, I could see where that would be. Frank, to answer your question, Frank Sinatra. I think I'd like to sit down with Frank Sinatra and talk with Frank Sinatra and just ask him about back in the day and through his life and so forth. But anyway, that sounds like that's going to. So have they written another book, or are you just talking to them about the books that they've written?
Yeah, they've written a brand new book that's coming out now. There's the new part of this, right? Everything old is new again. They came out with a book called The Company of Legends about 2 months ago, month and a half ago, and it's on. I don't know if it's bestseller yet, but it's on the way to the bestseller on Amazon.com, and it's just filled with stories that these people, they actually did what you wanted to do and went to Frank Sinatra and had an interview with him, and were at his house, and they take you behind the scenes. And one little story is how Joan Kramer was in the bathroom in Sinatra's house, and she just wanted a souvenir in some way, but at the house it was very restrictive. There were quite a number of bodyguards, and it was not like they visited other homes where it's just the star in their home. It was very much like a lot of security and cameras and so forth. So she's like, I don't know what to do, but I want some kind of a souvenir. So she's in the bathroom, and they had colored paper towels to wipe your hands with. So she takes one of these paper towels, I guess they were like a flowery design, and puts it in a pocketbook and takes off. She tells her partner later on, David Healy, that she did that she actually stole something from Frank Sinatra, and he told he looked ashen, and he just couldn't believe it. What are you doing? This is like close to the mafia as you're going to get here. Yeah. And they're going to come and get us, so to speak. What are you doing? And she pulls out this little novelty, and you breathe a sigh of relief. And they have a picture of the if you ever want to see what kind of paper towels Frank Sinatra had in his bathroom, they've got a picture in the book of that. So, and it's very different than what you think. It's this like little flowers and so forth, the doily kind of thing. You wouldn't think that Mr. Frank Sinatra would have that in his bathroom,
There we go.
So you see other sides of the celebrities. It's so fun. Little stories like that, we go through it for the whole hour.
All right. So that's coming up this Saturday at 6 o'clock right here on 1340 KVGC. Everything old is new again. Douglas Viviani and David Cohen, they're the hosts. And Doug, thanks for visiting with us today, and have yourself a great weekend, and we'll talk again next week.
Thanks. You too. I'll see you on the links.
All right.